So here I'm in the back corner of our property. That's the actual corner of that bush there. And this whole tree line, all this brush needs to be ripped out. Probably leave that tree. And the neighbors is right behind it. And the neighbors is beyond that rock there. That's the other line. That's another neighbor. There's a big oak tree in there. What's that oak? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's there's a chokecherry tree. I think there's an oak back there. My kids, all four of my girls, when they were younger, at some point would come back here, just by themselves. One of them were, as they grew up, they all did it. Come back and there's a perfect big branch back here that you can sit on. It's about 8 feet off the ground and nice place to sit, and they would read a book. I mean, every one of them did it at some point. And so that's what they would do. This is all real wet right down there. And we used to farm that where the grass is lighter. And we used to farm it all the way down to this fence line. Just this little corner, right where that grass starts to, right where those bushes are, it's pretty wet. But I plowed a little strip right there with a 2-bottom plow that my brother has, a 50 series 216 with this WD. And it's not really a sod plow. And I didn't have the wheels. I just wanted to scour it because I used it on the garden. And the wheels should have been adjusted in a little bit farther. So I didn't really want to plow nice. And I adjusted the plow, for the first round, and then adjusted again. Had to get it hadn't been used in a few years, so I had to get the threads loose, a little tapping with a hammer and penetrating oil. I got it all loose. So the leveling crank was fine, but the 2 lift arm deals were froze up. But that was no big deal. Just that it's a plow. It's one of those Allis plows with the bottoms that don't like sod. It's more like a stubble plow, stubble ground. Allis had a lot of different bottoms, and seems like a lot of them got that plow bottom that does not like sod, wants to flip back over. But I think it would have done better if I was adjusted right on my wheels, because I had one wheel riding up on the plowing. But I just wanted to scour up the plow, and nothing scours on this ground. Even up there, it's a gravel pit right in those trees, and there's gravel under the dirt here. But nothing, plows on this farm never scour. 3 miles away, I got a friend, a relative, that he never oils the plow or puts grease on the bottoms. Every year, his will scour right away. And it's good ground, but it must have a little bit of sand mixed in the dirt. It looks nice and black. That ground will always scour. This ground, my dad said when he bought this, it just never scoured right, with a mirror finish in the bottoms, and it would scour, but every time you get to the end, you lift up, and I know this from experience, you lift up and there's still going to be dirt stuck on it'll scour off, but it just pulls heavy. I mean, it's mellow soil, so don't pull heavy, but it does pull heavy. If the Yogi Berra quote there, maybe. But anyway, and my brother, that was my brother's plow, and then he's got this little, I don't know if there's an 8 or 9 foot disc, 7.5 foot. Allis usually went by half foots. And that's about, it's not much of a disc, really not heavy enough to do what I was doing, but of course I ran out of gas and had to walk all the way back to my shed back there, because I only put 5 gallons in it, and I guess I wasn't keeping track. But I'll go drive up and show you the plowing. It's sprinkling right now, so it kind of, as you can see, it's sticking to my tires, so it kind of puts an end to it. Put it in first gear. Nope. Wasn't quick enough. A lot of times I can do it without grinding at all. Yep, there we go. But I just clutch, but I didn't that time. The first ground. So, you know, when you don't plow this stuff, Minnesota thinks they own it then. If you let it go too many years. So it's been a long time. I had oats back here last time. And this hill always droughts out. And then down there is really good ground. If I get position here, I'll shut it off. I know I don't have much gas. I only put about 1.5 gallons in. That's all I had in the can. But that's really nice soil down there. But it's not tiled, and Minnesota thinks they own it, so you can't tile it. And this is what I've been disking. I probably went over it half a dozen times. It was some of the roughest plowing. The gopher mounds, there were condominiums out there the gophers had. And you can see a little bit of gravelly or lighter ground right on the end here. But up there it's pretty decent ground. And you can see there's a furrow they didn't quite flip all the way over. Hard to cover it up. I'll get it in the fall, and I should disc all this down in the fall with the big disc. Knock the gopher mounds down. And sure like to put a tile line in down there. A few. But communist Minnesota, they think they own it. So, you know, when I plowed it last time, we've always farmed it on and off since Dad owned this in '71. But communist Minnesota in the last 20 years keeps telling us we're sod busting. But they don't do anything about it. And I haven't heard from them in years because I haven't worked this ground in 10 years probably. So if they take an aerial photo, they'll see this strip and we'll get a letter saying we're sod busting. But I'm not in the program, so, you know, they can stick it. This used to be all pasture ground back here, and this brush wasn't here. This was all pasture for quite a few years too. But back there on the neighbors, but it's all brush. And cattle is so high price, and I don't know, you can't get into cattle anymore. I'd like to get cattle, but bottle calves are selling $1,300, $1,500 for a colored calf. That's a little spendy. You can see it sprinkling again, so I've done enough anyway. I got it leveled down pretty decent. So I'd like to put some calves out here, some cattle, cow calf thing, but, or even if I just bought 200-pound calves and put them out here. But I'm not spending $1,300. But I talked to a cattle guy, and he told me that the shortage, there's such a shortage in cattle, it'll take our lifetime to get built back up, and he thinks the cattle prices are going to just stay high. But I heard all that stuff before on other things, and then next thing you know, the bottom drops out. So anyway, it's my 52 WD. I've had it on here before, videotaping it. Lights work. Even my tail light works. So I guess the red-winged blackbirds are out here like crazy, but since we don't have cattle, we don't have a lot of hay ground. Used to be a lot of hay ground around this area. Milk cows and beef cows, and you'd see meadowlarks and bobolinks. Red-winged blackbirds are still around, but I haven't seen a meadowlark in many years, and bobolinks, because we grow corn and beans. That's what government wants you to grow, and that's what we grow. I'm not in the program, but most farmers are, and they can't survive without it. You know, I don't farm that much, so I don't need the program. But they got everybody addicted to the program and ethanol and biodiesel. And cattle go, hay ground goes, oats go, and you got no diversity. They love diversity in other things, but not in farming. They love to pack the country with diversity. You know, which I don't care. I do. We don't need criminals coming into this country. But now I'm getting political, so we'll stay off that. But yeah, that's the whole gravel pit. It's all growing up in trees and brush. But I remember when I was a kid, that was an active pit. Dad had somebody come in here and they crushed a lot of gravel. But anyhow, I guess that's all.